Yeah, welcome to the Knots Cave, baby. Ooh.
Yes, indeed, everybody. Welcome to the Knots Cave for a rather special pickup session this time. I'm going to make a move away from my usual pickups blast because to do a pickles blast regarding what I've currently picked up, guys, will take me the rest of the year to just get the footage together. So we're going to have a little different pickup this time. We've had Gold2th Gaming coming to the Knots Cave. Got some brilliant things to show at the end of the video, and it's sung me a beautiful song, so you know what's coming up, ladies and gents. On Swap Shop a few weeks ago, I was crafty and I texted Gold2th. As soon as he got out the SNES games, I went, I want those, mate. And the following day, straight to my doorstep. What a beautiful guy, what an amazing girthy guy. He's dropped off this beautiful Super Famicom behind me. So let's jump over to the bench, take some of these games out and have a look, because if you can see over to my left, I've made a lovely gap already, pending some absolute treasure trove Super Famicom games. So let's go over to the bench, check it out, and keep it girthy.
Look who's here in the Knots Cave. It's Gold2th. You know who it is.
So here we have one great big girthy box of Super Famicom stuff. Let's dive inside the box and see what we've got. So here we are, guys, dropped down in front of the Knots bench because I've tried to film this once and the amount of Super Famicom stuff we have down here just will not fit. There's more stuff here than we had in the Ultra Turrican Collector's box. So I've chose to sit down in front of the Knots bench and do things a little differently this time. There'll be no gameplay because it's just going to take me far too long. So we're going to look through this box of goodies that Gold2th dropped off at the Knots Cave. And at the end of that, I've got a little surprise for you because he did sing me a little song, which is worth hanging around for. Just to have Gold2th serenade you in your own house is amazing. Anyway, the first thing out the box is the crappiest thing in the box. I knew this was going to be crap. It's just average at best. And we have the baby Nintendo pad. Looks a lot like a Super Nintendo pad. You can see there the writing very babyish. Nintendo there. Unfortunately, it weighs nothing. Honestly, I've eaten heavier sandwiches than this. That's a comparison, isn't it? The buttons are nice. They work all right. So I'm going to salvage the pads out to renew some of my old SNES ones. But the main drawback is the entire D-pad can be pressed in the centre, pressing all directions at once, making playing anything like Street Fighter 2 Turbo just an absolute nightmare. So yeah, that's the worst thing in the package. We're going to roll that up and put that on the table. Thanks, Gold2th. This is not a great SNES pad, mate. But anyway, we knew that. Next out the box, we have the first Super Famicom Knots game is owned in a very, very long time. I've been playing all my Super Nintendo games on my Retron 5. The emulation is not brilliant. Some of them don't run. I do think I've got a SNES in the loft, the Mark II American one, but the picture's terrible. So it's really nice to have a Super Famicom again. I've got plenty of games already to play in this machine. So that is our system. Very nice. A little tiny bit of yellowing on there. I do really, really, really like owning a genuine Super Famicom again, which is nice. So now we're going to dive into this massive box of games. We're going to start with the top row of stuff. Some of these games, I've got no idea what they are. So the ones I've got no idea what they are, we're going to play. We're going to play in videos after this. We're going to have a blast on some of those crazy things. But the first one we've got out of the box, I do recognise the front cover of that. And I do believe that is either Super Adventure Island or Super Adventure Island 2 on the Super Famicom. These games are absolutely minty, ladies and gents. They all came in these lovely boxes. Gold2th really looks after his stuff. And honestly, some of these games are in such fantastic condition. Adventure Island, or Super Adventure Island, for those that don't know it, was Hudson Soft's fantastic rip-off of Wonder Boy. It is literally just Wonder Boy if they kept the original theme of the game going. These games are really good. They get incredibly difficult, but I'm really looking forward to some Super Adventure Island. Next one out of the box we have is a game that I've not heard of before, which is Battle Master. Yes, the Master of Battling. It looks like a 2D beat-em-up, which is really cool. A lot of these Super Famicom titles, I hope I'm not getting any glare on this because we're not going to know until after the video. A lot of these Super Famicom titles I've not heard of. This looks like one of those that cashed in on the Street Fighter craze. It could be a conversion of an arcade game. I don't know. I've never heard of that game. It's by Toshiba as well, so we'll see how that plays at some point. Next out of the box, the third game. Everybody knows this. The SNES's great Mode 7 racer, FZero. Yes, I even forgot the name of it there. I said But FZero was the first Mode 7 racing game that Knots Gamer ever played. There are no screenshots on the back of the box. Just some fantastic comic book artwork there, which is really nice. I really hope, guys, when we get to the end of this, there's no glare on these boxes because Nods Gamers is not filming this one again. Third out of the box, we have the original Final Fight for the Super Nintendo. This is probably the worst condition box of the lot. There's a little bit of white down the edges, which I really don't mind about at all, as I already have the cartridges this, I think. So there's plenty of fodder for Swap Shop coming out of the Notch Cave as well. Lots of unboxed games that I've now got boxed. Unfortunately, the original Final Fight, due to memory restraints on the cartridge, only contained Hagger and Cody and not Guy. Subsequently, they did remedy this by releasing Final Fight Guy, which is a Super Famicom game that I'm still looking out for. Third out of the box, we have Final Fight 2. I've never played this one. I never played anything other than the first Final Fight, to be perfectly honest. This one looks really good. You've got Hagger returns again and a few other characters in there. Lots of these games, guys, we're going to be having a blast on at some point as well, so forgive me for not showing any gameplay this time. Again, immaculate condition, that box. Gold2th, where do you get these, mate? They're so good. I've had some Super Famicom games on the shelf for years. Here we go, look. Here's my copy of Star Ocean, and it's rather sad looking, but I've never managed to find Super Famicom games in the condition that some of these are coming in. Absolutely spot on, Gold2th. Next one out of the box, we have the fantastically odd...
Hello, me here. Just before Nods Gamer completely makes an utter tit of himself over there, he completely gets this game mixed up with one he played when he was a child. He's actually never played this game before, and he's going to make an absolute fool of himself with this one. So if you guys would like to join me down in the comments, we can rip this guy for not knowing his retro games, and he should have played it beforehand. So see you in the comments, people.
F1 Exhaust Heat. Now, this was released in the UK. If you didn't know you'd already played this in the UK, it was called Human Grand Prix, which was a very, very interesting Formula One racing game where you didn't control the car as it moved around the track necessarily, though you had an analog arrow underneath the car like that, and as you moved it, your turn cycle increased. It was very, very tricky to play, but an ever so interesting Formula One game. The graphics weren't too bad for the Mode 7 stuff at the time, but that is a very nice game. Again, released outside Japan as Human Grand Prix. Fantastic little racer. Next up out of the box is one of the games that Gold2th said was worth playing. I'm not entirely sure what it's called, so we're going to have a quick look to see if there's any English on here. It's called Something 2. There we go. There we go. It looks like an anime beat 'em up. Some guy with his finger out. Forgive me, I'm not big on all the manga and anime in the universe. I do like some of it. I just don't know what some of the other stuff is. So this is a guy who looks like he can shoot you with his finger. Looks like a cool little beat 'em up. Again, Gold2th said this was a really decent game, so I'm going to pop this one in the Super Famicom at some point, and we'll have a blast on that one. But, oh, here we go. No, it just says fighting action on there, so forgive me. I don't know what this game's called. Please, guys, if you know what it's called, let me know in the comments. The next one out of the box is the award-winning Super Tennis, which I must confess has a very good box art compared to the dreadful PAL version. She really looks like she's having fun playing tennis there, doesn't she, ladies and gents? And on the back of the box, there's a couple of screenshots, and we nearly saw the picture of the tennis woman scratching her butt. Yes, all the dwarf fans in the universe will know that one. But Super Tennis was a great little sports game for the Super Famicom. The last game off the first pile of games in there is, I know this as BC Kid. Everybody knows this as BC Kid, but I think on the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, this was called Super Bonk. Awesome little platformer from Hudson Soft, ladies and gents. And there was a massive series of these games. I think more for the PC Engine Turbo Graphics than on the Super Nintendo. But Super Bonk, definitely going to play that because I do like my platformers. That's up there with me with games like Magical Flying Hat Turbo Adventure. That's a mouthful. It's one of those Japanese games that I could just play over and over and over again. It's a charming, beautiful looking platformer. So underneath that, we have even more goodness. We have the original Super Mario Kart. Look at this, guys. Look at the condition of this box. I mean, let me take this one out just to show you as an example. I'm going to be really careful with these because it's like they went in a box and spent their whole life in there, guys. Look at that. Super Mario Kart for the Super Famicom. Now it's covered in all the acidy sweat off my hands, which is going to tarnish the box. But what a fantastic box. What an awesome game this was. And I'm so glad that Mario Kart still goes nowadays because the game's just wildly fun on whatever format you play it on. I still do have my favourite in the Mario Kart series, which was Double Dash. Perhaps I'm looking at that through nostalgia goggles because I haven't played it for a long time. But there we go, Super Mario Kart. Fantastic. Staying on the theme of Super Mario and all things Super Mario, with an absolutely stunningly boxed copy of Super Mario World for the Super Famicom in here as well. And I can't wait to just pop this in the SNES, get all 96 worlds done. Oh, this is the best Super Mario game ever made, ladies and gents. Honestly, you can say what you like about the 3D ones. I really do enjoy them. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Sorry, I've got something in my throat there. But Super Mario World, or Super Mario Bros. 4, as it was called in Japan, is probably my all-time favourite Super Mario game. It's just so much fun. It's so well balanced. The difficulty curve is there. When you get to the end, some of the tougher secrets are just amazingly hard to get. If you've never played this on the SNES, Super Famicom, or anything Nintendo have done, I highly recommend everybody in the universe play Super Mario World, because it is the greatest 16-bit platformer next to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The next one out of the box, ladies and gents, we have Super Mario All-Stars. There we go. Which includes 4 Super Mario titles. The Japanese version has Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, and Super Mario Bros. USA. The rest of us in the world know that as Super Mario Bros. 2, but our friends in Japan know that as a reskinned version of Doki Doki Panic. Anyway, so this one, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which we got as a bonus title in the UK, was actually Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan. They just thought it was too difficult for Western players, so they adopted Doki Doki Panic and adapted that for a Western audience, and thus we got a very different version of Super Mario Bros. 2. But there we go, Super Mario All-Stars. Fantastic selection of Mario's finest history. Not as good as Super Mario World though. Sorry mate. Best game ever. Next up we have Super Formation Soccer 94 World Cup Edition. Absolutely no ideas. I'm going to have a blast on this, but I'm not a big fan of football games. It is again in fantastic condition for a Super Famicom title of its age. When are these games from? Like 1992, 91? Oh no, they don't put a date on it. So anyway, these games are incredibly old, but so well looked after. Gold2th, mate. Where do you keep these? In like an airtight freezer? Awesome, mate. Next up, we have the award-winningly awesome Samurai Spirits on the Super Famicom. Takara's beat 'em up. Well, it's SNK's beat 'em up, I think it was, but it was released by Takara on the SNES. It was a very, very noble conversion of the game, and it was missing lots of the effects, and it was dumbed down incredibly for a 16-bit machine, but retained the playability of the original, and it was a very good game. One of the best fighters on the SNES, if you ask me. Next up, we've got some shooters. Nos Gamers really getting excited now because we have the awesome Gradius 3, guys. Gradius 3. I love this shoot 'em up. It's so difficult, but I absolutely adore it. And look at that again. Another Super Famicom game in very, very good condition. There's a little bit of wear on the edges, but what a awesome shoot 'em up that is. Absolutely awesome shoot 'em up. Gradius 3. Absolutely amazing. I'm getting rather excited, guys. There's so much good Super Famicom stuff in here. Next up, we have probably one of my favourite shooters of all time. We have Darius Twin on the Super Famicom. I do already own a copy of this. This came in with a bundle. My box is a little bit tattier than this, so that will be going up on the next swap shop that I managed to get myself on. But here we are. Darius Twin on the SNES is an absolutely mind-bogglingly great shooter. If you like your shoot 'em ups, you've obviously already heard of Darius, but Darius Twin is a fantastic SNES shooter. One of my favourites. Up there with R-Type 3 and a few of the others that I forget the names for at the minute because I'm just staring at a box full of games, so I just keep getting blank mind. The next one out of the box, ladies and gents, I think we believe is Yoshi's Cookie. I'm sure it was called Yoshi's Cookie over here. It's a puzzle-style game like Tetris, Dr. Mario and stuff like that. It's a very, very nice cover there. Just a picture of Mario and Yoshi on a sea of yummy-looking biscuits, mate. It's a simple drop-down puzzle. There's a versus mode in there too. It's a very, very fun game if you do like your puzzle games, and a great one to play with your friends as well. So, Yoshi's Cookie. Yes, I'm sure it's called Yoshi's Cookie. Yeah, because the one with the gun was Yoshi's Safari, wasn't it? Which I'm staring at there on the PAL version. Yeah. Anyway, next out of the box, guys, we have something I've never heard of before, but it's the sequel to it. So we've got whatever this is, 2. I mean, how exciting does that get? It looks like a puzzle game. There's lots of Japanese text. It looks very, very text heavy. I mean, the box itself looks fantastic. So we'll try that out. A lot of these games I will be playing, pointing my phone at the screen with Google Lens on to translate some of the text. So we can work out what some of these games are. So some of the heavier language barrier games, we're really going to have a try at. We'll put him in there, and we're down to the last row of games, ladies and gents. So next we have Zero 4 Champ R. If this is anything to go by, let me just get out my chair a second. There we go. So we've played Zero Champ Doozy 4 Type R on the Sega Saturn before. It was a very weird game that involves you pulling off complex maneuvers at the beginning of each race to get your car in the correct configuration to actually start driving. It was a very, very weird game to play. So Zero 4 Champ R, I would assume, is an earlier game in the series. It's more about drag racing your cars, getting the tweaked performance of your car perfect so you can just shoot off down that drag strip. I'm pretty sure it's just like a crazy drag racing game. But we have the SNES version here and the Sega Saturn version here. So I'm pretty sure I know what to expect from Zero 4 Champ R. But yes, awesome. Beautifully boxed little racing game there. Under that we have Super Formation Soccer. I believe we got this. This is probably just Super Soccer. In fact, let me get Super Soccer off the shelf here and have a look at Super Formation Soccer and Super Soccer are one and the same game. So there we go. I'm pretty sure that's just Super Soccer, but the Japanese version, Super Formation Soccer, which is a Mode 7 football game, which released with the SNES and Super Famicom originally, if I do remember correctly. So if you like your soccer games, yes, football games, whatever, nice. Again, by Human, the same people that did the Formula 1 game we looked at earlier, which ended up being called Human Grand Prix. Next out of the box, we have an amazing game. I do own this on the American SNES, which I'm trying to look next to me to get the name for. It was Cybernator. It was released as in America, but we have Valken on the SNES, on the Super Famicom. Excellent two-dimensional run and gun shoot 'em up platformer. Call it what you will. Valken is a fantastic game, and we have his little brother here. I'm pretty sure, there we go, we have Cybernator. So that's the American release of Valken, Cybernator. So I'm going to enjoy playing that as much as I did Cybernator. Yes, fantastic looking game. 4 more to go, ladies and gents, 4 more to go, and then we're getting closer to that Gold2th song right at the end. And here we have another game, another sequel. I've got no idea what this is, but it's blah 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 2 again. I do recognise that guy. I don't want to say his name and get it wrong, but this just looks like it's got such bonkers artwork on the front, hasn't it? On the back, it looks just the same as well. So I've got absolutely no idea what to expect from this. I'm hoping it's like a platformer, because platformers seem to be the universal game that speaks the language of, don't worry what country it came from, you've just got to jump on stuff, you'll be fine. So yeah, I don't know what that thing is. I've seen it before. I'm sure I did used to know what it was called. Answers again in the comments, ladies and gents. I'm getting old, so I'm forgetting stuff. You know what I mean? Next out of the box, we have another amazing shoot 'em up, ladies and gents. Another amazing shoot 'em up. I do own the PAL version of this, which I'd love to just reach over and pull off the shelf again, which I'm going to do. But we have Poppin' Twinbee on the Super Famicom. Fantastic shooter. Amazing artwork on that box. It's such a brilliant game. Konami were really, really on point in the 90s, and some of their games are absolutely spot on. And here we have the PAL version there, Poppin' Twinbee. Beautiful, beautiful shoot 'em up, guys. There's going to be plenty of having a blast shoot 'em up sessions coming. I can feel it. I can feel it. Let's put these SNES games back. It's not about them. We're down to 2, ladies and gents, and the next one out of the box is Super Street Fighter 2. Oh yes, I've not got a box version of this, and this box looks absolutely spot on. Super Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo was one of my most played two-dimensional beat-em-ups growing up. It was a fantastic game. It contained all the characters from Turbo plus extras, and that is where I fell in love with playing as Cammy. What a fantastic character she is. Super Street Fighter 2 is one of the finest 2D beat-em-ups that money can buy. Now this last one I've left till last, and it's going to kill me because I forgot the name of the PAL version of this game, and you guys are going to be screaming in the comments, "Not Gamer, why did you forget this?" But we have the fantastic Area 88 on the Super Famicom. I really am racking my brain to remember what the PAL version of this was called. UN Squadron, there it is. There we go. Don't worry about going in the comments, guys. This is the Japanese version of UN Squadron. One of the Super Famicom's better shoot-em-ups as well. I'm really going to enjoy playing this because I've never actually played that before. So I'm going to spend lots of time with this game, getting good at an old 16-bit shoot-em-up. But again, the condition of these boxes is absolutely spot on. Gold2th, I props to your OCDs, mate. Props to you not buying games just because the box looks shabby. I mean, look at that. This is quite an old game as well, and the condition of that box. This is early 90s stuff. It has been kept absolutely minty. In fact, I don't even want to open it to get the cartridge out, guys. So I'm going to pop that back in. Look at that treasure trove of Super Famicom goodness. Gold2th, you're a legend, my friend. And he threw me in a little extra in the bottom of the bag when he came round too. And we have the Japanese version of the Super Game Boy, which is really cool. I don't know if that is going to be any different from the PAL one or the region locked. I don't know, but there's another way to play my Game Boy cartridges on the TV. When Gold2th came round to see us, he brought his minions with him as well. Two little sweetest lads you've ever seen in your life. And while he was filming something in my room for me, I stood on the landing and just let them punch me in the stomach just to keep them occupied. That's how crazy Gold2th kids are. Lovely bunch, you guys. I hope you enjoy the games you picked up out of my swap shop box. I've now got to find some more to keep filling that up for my next eventual appearance on that show.
Once, twice, 3 times a lady.
So yes, lots of Super Famicom goodness. Absolutely crap loads of it for the Knots Cave. There's going to be plenty of videos coming, playing through some of these games at some point. Thanks again to the legend that is Gold2th Gaming for delivering these to my doorstep. And thanks even more for the legend that is Retro Chef for hosting a fantastic swap shop where you can pick up amazing bundles like this once a month. So make sure to check out Retro Chef's channel. But before you go, ladies and gents, before we serenade you out with Gold2th Gaming's beautiful song, I just want to take one moment to say, vote in YouTuber of the Month this month, ladies and gents. I'll link that in the description as well. Check out the people that are in the running for YouTuber of the Month. They are fantastic tubers, ladies and gents, but I recommend you put those to one side and vote for Rampage Talk. Yes, the up-and-coming channel. The Rampage Talk is an absolutely phenomenal little YouTube channel. He's growing every day, more and more. There's fantastic editing skills. If you don't believe me, check out his channel. Watch Streets of Rampage 2. It is an absolute work of art. This guy's amazing. And if you don't want to vote for him for YouTuber of the Month, make sure you vote for a YouTuber of the Month, ladies and gents. But make sure you vote for Rampage Talk. Yes, he's my favourite.
Let's celebrate.
I've been nominated for YouTuber of the Month.
To last throughout the years.
And now here's a message from our sponsor, Gold2th Gaming. Take care, ladies and gents. See you next time.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Come and smoke some green with me, Jolene. Yo!